Hey language luminaries, welcome back. Today we are going to explore the art of writing an ICSE English composition, a skill that is not just about words but about expressing your thoughts clearly and meaningfully. In today's session we will adhere to the request, that is, a formulated evidence, that in case you're part of an interview where we are providing statements that the interviewer is in place with the intervention, that is the communication vertebrae, the language that we all understand as a preference to this case that can be taken as a vertebral in the formulated evidence. As Sudha Murthy ma'am often reminds us, you can't change the world by writing a long essay, but you can inspire minds through words that come from the heart. That's exactly what we will aim for in our compositions today. Let's begin. Understanding the composition. Composition is a piece of writing between 300 to 350 words as a preference in the prodigy. A composition is a piece of writing, but the words should be typed according to the length of the narration. The main types include and I want you to make a note of this. The reason is, if you are part of an interview for a preference, that is either technical writer or as a content writer, you should be clear with the vertebrates. A story with a meaning. Second, descriptive. Painting a picture that your reader can feel. Now, when it comes to the third preference that we all understand, an essay is discursive. That means the essay is discursive only if we are part of the thoughts that we share. As an opinion or a eloquent or an illicit prodigy. Now when it comes to the sharing of opinions, that we all understand that the exclusive formulated evidence is the issue. Those are the letters, articles or speeches where we are clear that we are communicating with clarity and purpose. Always remember, your composition should come from your heart, not just your mind. Like Sudha Murthy says, simple words can have a deep impact. Planning your composition. Is essential. Before writing, take few moments to understand the first point. That is, understand the topic. And this is a reference to all the videos of mine where we can complete the story. To know whether it's a story, description, or discussion. Brainstorm ideas. Note down 5 to 7 points you want to include. Organize your points. Decide on introduction, body and conclusion. Manage your time wisely. Plan 5 to 7 minutes. Write for 15 to 20 minutes. Revise for 3 to 5 minutes. A well-planned composition reflects clarity of thought and calmness of mind, qualities that Sudha Murthy often emphasizes in her writings. Structure of a composition. Every composition should have 3 parts. First is the introduction. Second is the body. And in case you are part of a surveillance, that is the introduction, a warm opening that draws the reader in. For example, if you are trying to perform an incident that is related to the composition, that means the incident is recorded by the preference, either your interviewer or the person who's part of your life. For example, last summer, experienced. And in case you feel that the correction which I have provided to you as feedback is not adhered to, especially the feedback which I tried to provide in October or September based on the preference, I want you to refer to the context that I have provided. And in case you want to spend time understanding the vertebral, you can send a message only if you're part of the curriculum of mine, that is as a subscriber. The reason is, in case you're part of my curriculum, you will receive an update to watch my video. Second, the body of my composition, or the composition which you all are part of, that is as a vertebral, should be in 2 or 3 paragraphs. 2 to 3 paragraphs. That should be the inheritance. So that when you are explaining the ideas, or the ideas which all of you are inherited as a preference, and the narration would be the characters, setting problem and solution. Second, descriptive. Use your senses, what you saw, heard, felt, smelled or touched. Essay or discursive. Present your thoughts logically with examples and reasoning. Conclusion. End with reflection or lesson. This experience reminded me that true friendship is built on trust, patience and understanding. It depends on the vertebrates that we use as a formulated evidence. And in case it is a fragmentation in the conclusion, we have to understand that we have to write the composition with words used as simple, honest, often leave the deepest impression. Now, let us head towards the session where language and style are provided by the preference. Here are some tips inspired by the simplicity and wisdom of Sudha Murthy ma'am. Use clear and heartfelt language. Avoid overcomplicating sentences. Second, include varied vocabulary, but keep it natural. Maintain tense consistency. When we speak about maintaining the consistency in the tone, we should understand that the vertebrals are used as a reference, that short and long sentences for rhythm and flow should be quoted as a variable and not a preference in the vocabulary. The next point is clear to our conscious, that we have to avoid using slang or informal words. I want to quote an incident where the word was used along with the preference, that slang should be conducted as a formulated evidence by a person who is in place with his thought, that we are part of a evidence. We have used the word, we have quoted in a group, and then we realize that it is just a formality. In case a person has responded to this word, then he is in place with his vocabulary, that a person has placed his words and he's responded to the context, that is the preference that we call as a formulated evidence. Now, when it comes to a group, it is clear that the person would have responded to his thought in a way which should be quoted in all groups as a formulated evidence that he should quit the group. In case he has answered the question, he is clear that the formulated evidence is quoted as an ignorant motive, where we see he is immature. So when you write the composition, you should be clear that you are placing your words like a politician. For example, Modi ji, the Prime Minister of India, is clear with his vocabulary. When he places his words, India is safe. When he asks a person not to be part of a conference, he is clear that he is safe. So when we place our statements, we should understand that the informal words used in a catalogue should be in place with the vocabulary. Read your writing aloud. Feel your words as you speak. Remember, it's not about using big words. It's about expressing your thoughts honestly and meaningfully. The word which I'm using should be quoted as a reference to the mediums. For example, if you're part of the session as a curriculum through a region of India where we have to understand that network is not in place with your vocabulary, and if it's a safe space through which you're watching this video, I want you to know the word big is used to make you feel comfortable with our vertebrates. But when you're part of an interview, you should understand that you have to place your statement as a variety of inconsistency in the providence. And you can use the word proficiency with a large initiative. Now I will quote a memorable trip of mine as an example and as a preference to our context. Let's outline a composition on a memorable trip. Introduction. Last winter, I visited the hills of Shimla with my family, an experience that will remain in my heart forever. Second, body paragraph. Describe the journey and scenery. Body paragraph 2. Share activities and special moments. Body. I understand that the context which is used in the paragraphs are in place with your words, and if the audience is clear with the vertebrals, I want you to understand that the vertebrals can be used as a preference. Now, if you see the vertebral, that is the context that we all understand as a passage in this mechanism, and if you've quoted the word as a preference, where I was trying to analyze the context, that is wording as a preference in this mechanism, and in case you're facing network issues, you can quote this as a provident in the mechanism, or the providence in the mechanism should be concluded as a challenge. Now, the word provident is not in place with your vocabulary. When I'm making a mistake, you should understand that the context is in place with your thoughts. So, you have to conclude your vertebrals through an email where we can analyze the context. Conclusion. This trip reminded me that the simple joys of nature and family are the greatest treasures. Notice how the composition is simple, flows naturally, and stays within 300 to 350 words, reflecting honesty and clarity. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my channel, Smart English World. A quick recap. Plan before writing. Stick to a clear structure. Use simple, honest language. Revise for clarity and flow. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, share and comment below with your favorite type of composition. As Sudha Murthy says, courage and simplicity are more powerful than words alone. Keep writing, keep practicing, and let your words inspire others. See you next time, language luminaries.